It's our 5th day in Vietnam today, and I wanted to make a video, like a vlog, and just share our experience of what it's been like to be here, and also relating to the topic of witnessing and presencing collective trauma and what we feel and what I feel especially very strongly here since we arrived here in this country and into this field. It's been very much present to feel the deep suffering from the war and all the war and the conflict and the separation that happened between the North and the South, and then just this very, very strong war charge that I can feel here in 2023, because even though this happened many, many years ago, we could say it happened in the past. The past is still living on right now, currently, here in this place, and it can be felt and seen very, very strongly, and it's very visible for me in this time of being here so far in this country. And there's a lot of compassion and empathy that comes through because of knowing what so many people here had to live through, the unbearable. It's almost like I can feel the brokenness of humanity here very, very, very strongly from what happened from the war. And it's a heaviness that's here that I can feel very, very strongly, because if you have a lot of space and presence within yourself, you open yourself to also feel the collective field. And there's personal pain and trauma, and then there's also collective pain and trauma that's like a soup that we're all swimming in, collectively what we've experienced and endured. And of course, in different countries around the world, we have different themes and different energies that are present. I mean, even in Germany with World War II, there's a lot of war trauma also in Germany. And when I lived in South Korea, there was also this experience of a heaviness and also the remnants of war also that I could feel when I lived there. And of course, there's different symptoms and different consequences that happen from the traumas that happened in the past that live on in the present. And it's also the intergenerational line of the grandparents to the parents to the children, what gets relayed and passed on and transferred down. And there's also just feeling the collective field of what's really here. And it's so interesting because when we've been here so far, there's so much that I could say, it's almost overwhelming. I'm just trying to give a voice to some of it, what I feel being here, because I've sat at a restaurant yesterday and I just started to cry. I broke down in tears because I felt the suffering. I just could feel so visibly and tangibly right in my face the suffering and the pain of the people here and what they've had to experience, and the breaking of the human spirit, the breaking of the human heart, the atrocities of the war, the suffering, the inhumane conditions, the remnants of communism, and the breaking of the human spirit that happens under these regimes, and the pushing down on the people through the remnants of communism, and the breaking of the human spirit that happens under these governments and these authorities, and the execution, the murder, the torture, the abuse. Everything was just in my face yesterday as well, and it's still here right now, which is why I'm speaking about it. And I just started to cry because I just felt such a pain of emotional heaviness, so much pain that's here that almost like has to be felt, it has to be seen by people who actually have the capacity to meet it and to feel it and to see it. And I feel a certain duty and responsibility because I feel it so strongly. It has an impact on me where I feel it and I'm crying and I'm releasing it, and I'm also giving a compassionate presence and witness to this abuse and war and violation of that's happened to people here, that's violation of our humanity that has happened. I just feel like a responsibility. I need to speak about it because it feels like I need to give a voice to this, because almost that I get goosebumps and chills in my body when I say this, because I feel like it's not spoken about enough, and there needs to be a voice. It has to come through. It can't just be emotionally suppressed, and there's so much emotional suppression in this world where so much pain and trauma has just been suppressed and pushed down, also as a survival mechanism, just to be able to function and keep moving forward and going. But I do feel it's also important to acknowledge what is here right now, and what is here is a huge pain body of abuse, pain, suffering, sadness, denial, abuse and suffering. Just deep, deep pain and charge. And it's interesting because when I was also in a shop yesterday and I didn't want to buy something, there was the woman, she started to yell at me and scream at me, and she just started to yell at me and become very, very hostile and very, very aggressive. And it was interesting to see this charge, like this charge is here in the city, it's here, and then it's like by swimming in this soup, it just comes through, this energy comes through sometimes. And It's interesting, this happened here yesterday with this woman in the shop, because I was very, very peaceful and just said, I don't want to buy that. And then she was like exploding out onto me, just a huge emotional charge that comes in, hostility, aggression. And this has only happened in countries where I've been, where there's been the remnants in history of war. So even in Germany, when I lived in Germany, this also happened at a post office, where I was just in the post office, and all of a sudden the person behind the desk just started to like take out their frustration, anger, and aggression, emotional suppression onto me. It was like they just started to yell at me as well. This happened also in Germany in my experience, and it also happened in South Korea when I lived in South Korea. At the market with the local woman, and just yelling and being very aggressive and hostile, because there's so much of the pain body that's there. And also, since I'm so open, and I think it's on a deeper level that people can maybe feel that I'm able to handle a certain level of emotional intensity. I have an openness and capacity to hold a strong charge of emotional intensity. It comes out and it comes through, because it wants to be released. The pain and the energy that's being suppressed, it has to go somewhere, and it's almost like it comes out and outbursts in some ways. So I'm sharing about this because it's almost like it doesn't matter about us seeing different attractions here. We went to the Vietnamese Women's Museum yesterday. We went to the Temple of Literature as well. It's a temple dedicated to Confucius and to the different philosophers and scholars that have, studied the ways of virtue, and we were there as well. But it's interesting because it doesn't matter that the attractions are being in the old quarter of Hanoi. It's more like what's really in my face, and what's really in both of our faces, has been the collective trauma of feeling with the war from Vietnam and what's been going on here. And I had pictures and images in my mind, of torture, executions, human rights violations, people being executed. So much heaviness, like just things that blow your mind, things that we in our generation we haven't had to live through, but I can feel that it's happened here, and it's happened to the people. And you look at the people and you see it in their faces, you see it in their eyes, you see it in the energy field. So there's a deep, deep empathy and compassion, of compassionate witnessing and presencing that happens when I'm here in a very, very strong way, because this has never happened before in any other country that I've been to feel it with such a strong charge and intensity. It's very, very strong here, in a way that I think even stronger than being in Germany and what I experienced with the wartime trauma. So I'm just sharing this right now, and I just want to give a voice to this, because I know we're all swimming in this soup of collective pain and trauma. All of us are in the collective pain body of humanity in different ways. And I feel it's important that when we see things and we feel things or we experience things, that we can speak about it in a way that brings light and awareness and healing, just by meeting it with what's here and acknowledging it with compassion and presence and empathy. And we've met some beautiful humans here as well, here in Vietnam, some beautiful people as well. And it's just, humanity wants to grow. We want to grow, we want to evolve, we want to heal, we want to come into wholeness. And this is the seed that's planted in all of us, is that we want to come into wholeness. We're meant to grow, we're meant to heal, we're meant to come into wholeness. In order to come into wholeness, there has to be a deep, deep collective healing that happens on this planet. Because without deep healing and collective healing, humanity just gets recycled back into the past, and we're just spinning on a wheel of karma. It's like we're just spinning like this, and we're causing more pain, more suffering, more separation, more split to divide, more brokenness. And then with the light of awareness and with presence, we can meet it, we can feel it, and we can heal it, and we can correct the past. That's the thing, by being here in the present, we can correct the past by bringing the light into what's here, and bringing it back into a re-emergence of wholeness. So I just felt really inspired right now to share about this and to talk about this, because it's present for me right now on our time here in Vietnam. And I know not everyone's been to Vietnam, and not everyone has a connection to that, but I share this because, of course, it's just very, very obvious here in a very highlighted way. And of course, in different countries, it may not be as obvious, but we're all swimming in the pain of collective trauma. We're all in this together. Nobody is separate. Nobody is outside of this soup of collective trauma, because being a human, you're part of this whole field of humanity, of this unity. So I'm sharing this, and I hope it can be of relevance or resonance in some way to anyone who's watching this. But I do feel that we need more beings on this earth that are able to bring compassionate witnessing, compassionate presencing to the pain of humanity and to the trauma that's been endured by millions of people, because millions of people have died in the war, and many wars across the world. And it's just so much pain and suffering that deserves to be felt with empathy, and to really be felt, to really be acknowledged, and to really be seen and felt. I feel this is so important right now in this time that we're living in. So I share this video just as my personal experience of being here, and also giving a voice to what it's like to witness this collective trauma that's here. And it's interesting because when we first came into the city, I asked Jonas, how do you feel being here? And he said it's almost like a haze around the city, and he could feel a collective field of numbness very strongly here. As soon as we entered, like from the airport into the city, the collective field of numbness is what he could feel. And I also just felt very strongly the remnants of communism and the punishment, of how much punishment's been pushed down onto people to break the human spirit and to break the human heart. And I could just feel it still lives on here right now. So I'm just sharing this right now to share and to give a voice. And for anyone who feels the pain of humanity and who feels the pain of where they're living, in the country where you are, or in your family, or the intergenerational line, just to know that as part of being the healing journey of yourself and going beyond the healing journey of a personal self, you also open yourself to be a vessel to transmute and to heal the collective pain of humanity as well. And that's our job as well. Beyond our personal pain and suffering, there is the collective pain and suffering that we can meet and we can heal, and we can bring wholeness and unity and love and presence and wholeness to. So I sent this video right now from Hanoi, the capital city of Vietnam. And also I haven't been sleeping the last nights that we've been here. We haven't been able to sleep. It's been so strong, because even it's not just about noise in the city and the constant honking and aggression on the scooters, and honking and aggressing and yelling and screaming that we hear. It's also the energetic noise that's in the background or in the forefront for me and Jonas, more in the forefront than even the noise, and the honking is more like the pain body that's here, that's so strong. So we haven't been able to sleep, and I haven't been able to sleep, which is also why I just felt like I need to give a voice to this and to share authentically and truthfully my experience of being here, and the collective healing work that both of us are doing through meeting it and talking to people and just bringing light and healing to this. So sending you guys much love from Vietnam, much love from my heart. And I hope this video, that you can take away something, or that can be worthwhile and valuable for you to receive just through my sharing and my own transparent experience of what it's like to be here. Much love to you.